All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our April 13th edition of our morning coffee review. I'm Jason Hartley, joined here by Michael Ashave, and we're here to talk Bluebeam, coffee, tips, all sorts of fun things.
That is right. So let's kick it off. Today is all about talking about your tips and what you find most useful in Bluebeam Review. We've had a couple roll in, but feel free to start chiming in the chat or the Q&A on what you believe is your best tip. We do actually have a prize for the winner as well, and we will decide which one is the best tip overall.
And maybe not even the best tip, but our favorite tip. Like we do a lot of stuff with Bluebeam Review, and sometimes things will fall off our radar because we're not using it in the same way that a lot of you do. Because we're not interacting on actual projects most of the time. However, any little tip you have, let's hear it. We'll give it a test and pull up the software and try it out. So we'll get Michael to switch over from presentation mode. And we've got a couple tips to test already. So you want to give this a whirl?
Okay. Are you going to tell me what the tips are?
So the first tip from Chad is taking snapshots, right? Snapshots are a great function, and it's a really neat way to quickly populate your tool set. So the tip is grouping all the snapshots into one picture, and then putting that group in a tool set. That way you can just insert it and grab the little pieces you want.
So taking multiple snapshots is what he's doing.
Yep, and just kind of putting them off to the side and then taking one snapshot of the multiple snapshots.
Okay.
That way you don't have to have, 15 different buttons in a tool set. You can have one button in a tool set and then just use that as your palette, so to speak.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So you're taking multiple of these, and then when you place them, they are a group, and you could ungroup them, right? Is that what you're saying?
I could do that too. Group. There's a bonus tip right there. A very underutilized function.
But you said group, right, or no?
Let's see. Need clarification from the tip giver. It says, I like grouping snapshots. So I would imagine that would count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that, right? Then it's one.
Drop that into your toolbox.
Yeah. So I have it as a tool set now, right? Drag it up to my tools. And I guess the function of it grouping, right? I could then ungroup it and move whatever one I wanted to.
That's a good one. That is a workflow that I haven't tried myself. Okay. Could also be markups grouped. Absolutely. You could group those together, whether they be symbols or markups or callouts, text boxes. Lots of uses for that.
Yeah, grouping really comes in handy when you're like creating a custom count or sequence. Because you're making the shape that you want, then you're grouping the value of it. Alrighty, so what else do we have next?
Tip. Take your 1, 2, 3 at the top there and align them. So use the alignment tool.
Oh, okay. So you do this, well, I do this, or I did this a lot when I was creating my dashboards. So you can use the alignment, so you can decide how you want these things that you've selected to align to. It can align to the left, align to the center, align to the right, the top, the middle, the bottom, the width, or align the height, or align size. I've done a lot where it's distribute horizontally or distribute vertically. These are two great ones as well. So we could do one where it's we'll just align it, right? So align to the left here. And then you can go and it's whatever the value is of it. So it's better if it's a single markup versus a snapshot because it's the center of whatever it is aligning, right? So even though these grid lines aren't aligned, it's because the snapshot was larger than the other snapshot, but you can see both of these are aligned, right? I know, bad example. But then you can also do center, right? left side. And then the other one that I prefer is also the distribute. Let me go over here. So a secondary one. Alignment, and then we can distribute. Let's do horizontally. Let's make them over here. Something like this. This may be a bad example, but
because your snapshots weren't equal, so it's just grabbing that whole blank space too.
yeah. So now they're all vertically aligned as well.
Yeah, that's a good tip. A lot of the times when I look at the alignment, I automatically, my brain goes to word processing and aligning my paragraphs and my words and things like that. I never think to use it for symbology and snapshots, markups. That's a good one.
Yeah, no need for the good old Tetris game.
Well, that's not entirely true. Tetris still holds up today, 2021, I tell you. All right, another tip. Using dynamic fill to measure both an area and a perimeter in one operation. So the good one, I talked about it last week, very handy. Do the same thing or use that handy dynamic fill tool. Hit J for your dynamic fill is your hotkey. And then you can tell that to do 2 or 3 operations at once. So Michael will demonstrate that.
We want to go through and do it? Okay.
Or I can.
I should know if we wanted to go through. So here we go, filling this area here, boom. And then you have the option, he wanted, what was it, an area?
Area and a perimeter.
Yep, so you can go through and say whatever area default, which is just the default preferences out of review natively, or any custom tool sets that you've created for a specific type of area measurement, like this flooring, ceiling, and glazing. I could add that one. And then I also have, what was the other one, perimeter? Okay.
Perimeter, yep.
We can go through and let's just add, I'll just do the default one. So me selecting them, and as they're highlighted, indicates that it's going to make those. I also like to do a space, so I could make a space here if I wanted to, and then just hit apply, and it's done and added all of those as well.
Yep, very handy tool. Save you some clicks, organize things, and make your life a little easier. Oh, you made a space, so you went 3 steps.
Yeah, I added a space. I always like adding spaces. This is a great use for when you're doing any quantity takeoffs or for that area.
And also great for punch list things.
Yep.
You know, that's where I find most people are interested in that is if you're doing punch list items, you know, create a space for it so you know where those items fall instead of just on page 103 or whatever. They can see, oh, it's in the mechanical room or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Bonus tip is to split the perimeter and remove sections you don't want if you don't need the entire thing for like a door opening.
Okay. I don't have a door opening, but we can go through. Is it just adding a point? And that's how you're splitting it? Because I haven't ever split it before.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. David with the trick. Might be only on the polyline.
That's what I was, because adding a point does allow you to move from that justification, right? So I can go through and do that. And I think that's on the space, yeah. So. Won't even let me grab this area. It's fine. So let's see, yep, you can still split it, and it's added a new segment if you wanted to, and there we go.
Good trick. I like that one. So that did work with a...
You could split all too. I've never done that, so that's new for me.
All right. So we'll keep moving on. Another tip, words inside a circle and symbols to be made into a stamp. So converting geometry into a stamp instead of making a stamp from scratch. So take your number 5, for example, and turn that into a stamp.
You want me to make a markup? and change it into a stamp? Is that what we're doing?
Or just like that little symbol. So words inside a circle or symbols to be made into a stamp.
Okay.
How creative you're feeling.
Are we grouping these together?
I don't know.
Okay. I've never made a stamp this way.
But we'll see if this works. Like I said, we're going to take your tips and put them to the test.
So how are we adding it to a stamp from here? Is it a right click? Or are we talking about we're having the markup here, right? So we group this together and then go into the tools stamps and
this is
create
for
a new one.
me. I apologize for being clear. Oh, that's from you, buddy. That's all right. Oh, so if you selected it and then go to create stamp, it doesn't do anything?
Okay, so select it and then go to stamp.
If that does anything. Just curious. Just like the last grouping. So that would work great in the tool set or using
this.
It. That would work, yes. Tricky one.
So, but so it wasn't this, right? Right click and add stamp.
Correct.
Because that's what I was thinking they were saying.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So one of the questions is, what if it was the geometry that's already in the PDF, like a grid bubble with a column number, and instead of creating a bunch of items to make a stamp? So that one, you'd use the snapshot, and you'd snapshot that bubble number, and then go in and just like he's illustrating here, that's going to show up in your recent tools, and then bring that into your new stamp to have a stamp for that. But I think a better use of that would just to leave it in your My Tools and have it be inserted as a geometry. Will it be opaque or transparent? Good question.
The stamp itself, that's up to you. So when you're creating your stamp, right, you're using the visibilities of whatever the settings are of the properties of that one. So it's completely up to you. When you're in and creating your stamp, I'll go back to the new of a stamp. It's at this beginning feature. I also have a quick tip video of this on our YouTube channel, but whatever type of blend mode, you're deciding how it's going to be represented as a stamp. So you get to decide that at the beginning too. Here's an opacity, rotation, font color as well. They do have templates in here, which are great for those dynamic options you want to add in. So when you're going in and adding a text box here, I'll just add one. You always get that option here. What is the dynamic part we want to add in to our stamp? All of these options are available. If we want to get more into the woods here about custom scripting for it, like JavaScripting windows that populate when you place the stamp. So there are some stamps that already have them from that lovely extensions. But when you place it, you get this option of JavaScripting. You do have to go through and run this script. So if I were in here editing it, for those of us that are understanding what's happening, you have forms, and then you have the JavaScript of what things pertain into here for that pop-up window to happen. I'm not a JavaScripting expert, so I'll default to those who are. But that's when that window dialog pops up for you to then prompt to fill in information for the stamp.
There's so many different settings and styles and things that we could populate with stamps. That could be its own morning coffee review session that we'll probably do in the future. I would love to go through all of those blend modes and darken and whatever, just to see what they all do. That'd be a fun one. JavaScripting, that would also be a great topic, but I'm busy that day. I don't know it. Just don't know JavaScripting at all. And well, I'm not saying I never will, but
it's not currently in your tool belt yet.
No.
What's next?
We got another one. crop page and save it as a separate PDF. So,
Okay.
does that make sense?
So
Take your little rotunda thing over on your lower right, that little circle thing. That's the technical term for it. Little circle area room, and crop that out and make it its own PDF page to the right or anywhere. That's the,
which room? All right, we'll let you start driving.
Okay. Drive on your screen. Oh
no, we'll let you. Well, we could do that, or we could open yours.
Too late now. Too late now. All right. So I'm right here. So here's, we got this little circle thing. We want to crop this out and create a new PDF from it.
Okay.
So, let's see. This isn't a function I do very often. So if I go to document crop pages.
Let's hit next.
Get me page.
Let's do one page. Yeah.
There we go. I'm on page 6. Top box, page size, trim box, bleed box, art box. Interesting. We can go here, get window. This is what I was after. Let's grab this page. And okay. What will happen?
There it is.
Oh, it took out everything else from my construction set. So in my page here, just on page that I chose, I wiped out everything else and just created this. Now, what this didn't do was extract to a whole different PDF, and that was an option that I did not select. But for that, we've got our undo button. Go back. Good tip. That's a tip. That's a function I don't use very often. It's the crop. Another good morning coffee review tip is just document management. Just the things we can do with the document part.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree. That's a huge one. The great thing that review does for document management is allows you to easy manipulate, move pages around, copy pages over, insert pages. There's a lot of things you can do with the document management and what I like to call, or not what I like to call, what it is called, the thumbnails panel. So
yeah, thumbnails are great too.
Yep.
All right.
So let's see here.
Tip here from Brian. Add versus importing tool sets. So this one comes up a lot outside of morning coffee review from our clients, and it goes down to how do you want to standardize your tool sets. So I've got my selection of tool sets that are in my, go to my JSON profile here. I've got all these tool sets that maybe I want to share with somebody, or maybe I want to import my company standards. So our options are to go to tool chest, manage tool sets, and then here I can import a set. Now, if I import a set, let's say I'm going to my server location, which I don't have. So I can grab my flooring one. I don't think it's in here. I can open this. Well, let's pretend that was on my server and that's my company standards, right? I can import them. Now it shows up as flooring. Or was that? Do that again. Did I not click the button?
You can also double click them too from Explorer. It's already existing, so it may not be in this profile that you're in too, right?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's the one thing about profiles, folks, is that you can tie your tool sets to them. And if you're not in the right tool set, you're not going to see it.
I'll grab my trees. That one will work. So now when I hit OK, there's my trees in this tool set. Now what this is doing is this is creating a local copy of that one. It's not necessarily pulling from that server location anymore, meaning that should I save or make a change, it's not really affecting my, if I delete this one out of here, sorry tree, and I save my profile, it's not writing back to the server. However, if I were to go to manage tool sets and go to add, this is a different story. So adding, instead of doing importing, will give you that better link to that server location. right? So here I would just go to my path, go find my one that I want, my people, go, pretend that's on the server, and now that's a part of that. Now I've got little people.
And you see that little lock feature, right? So in order to change things and not change things, you just click it to unlock it, and you can save changes and not save changes. But what happens when you save changes, Jason?
So
Does it update my server copy?
This old lady, I'm sorry, old lady, you're gonna have to go. Oh, let's see, let's not get rid of her. Him, oh, it's a dude. I'm not assuming anything. Black. Made a change. If I save this, so where's that?
Just go back to the gear symbol on the people.
Oh,
on the
hey,
people, yeah, and hit save. Yep, that's going to update the server copy.
Even with the lock?
Well, it relocked it once you hit save.
Oh.
It was unlocked before you hit save. Yeah. Because you made changes to it, right? So you unlocked it.
Oh, let me go back. Trying to get that pop-up to show.
Yep, right here.
You currently do not have a lock on people. Would you like to get a lock on the toolset? So I can grab that cyan, make it purple, hit OK. Now it's unlocked. I lock that back up. Now, if I hit save, I don't have that save because the lock is there. If I unlock it, then I can save it. Now, no, I can't lock it.
Well, you need to make changes because there's nothing for it to save. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. For that, then this would allow me to overwrite the server copy. What if the server copy was read-only? Would that do anything?
I don't know, like a Windows read-only, you mean?
Yeah. So comment from Scott here, not if it's a read-only folder. If the server folder is read-only, it will not update the server folder with a new update to the tool chest. So what we're talking about here is if we wanted to import a company standard tool set and we didn't want the employees to start messing with things and taking away the integrity of that tool set, could it be a read-only file?
Yeah, and I think there's a question about that at one point, right? And we boiled it down to it being a Windows-based solution for locking the file, right? So no one can overwrite the changes. So if you went to that same file explorer, yeah.
So pick my trees. I'm doing this on my opposite screen.
Yeah, we don't see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that read only. So I took my trees tool set, made that read only. I'll go ahead and change my profile to this one. Nope. We should have talked about that. New set, tool set here. Oh, trees, you're not supposed to be here. Please remove you. Okay. Now if I add trees back in, not import. So we're gonna add existing Bluebeam trees, which should be read only now. Not showing all profiles. There we go. There we go. Now it's locked. And I change this to green. Do not have a lock. Okay.
But
there we go.
Read on. That's what I'm waiting for. Okay.
So this is how we're going to prevent employees from making changes, whether they be intentional or not, and locking those down. So that's a good tip. I like that one about doing the add versus import because it's really easy to confuse that terminology, I would say. Because you're doing the same thing, but there are, how it reacts in Bluebeam might look identical. However, being able to change things and having user control of those locks, these are both a little different. So it's a good tip. All right, let's check the chat here.
I haven't seen anything yet.
All right. Any more tips today?
Anyone have any more tips before we start throwing some tips out?
Our own. Yep.
We'll give it a couple seconds. Anyone from the YouTube side?
You have to summon CJ.
Not this morning. Bummer.
All right. So what I was doing, I'm going to throw in a tip here, because this one is a little overlooked, I think. I do it all the time. Changing colors. So let's say I wanted to turn this into a landscape plan, and I've got all these, fancy trees here, and I wanted to make these green. You can go right click, go to change colors, and then you can substitute whatever color. So in this case, my preview before, it will find whatever colors are in here. So if this was, brown and green and blue and had all the different colors in it, I would be able to select which one I wanted. So in this case, I'll take the black and I want to turn it to green. And when I do that, it gives me the preview. I can hit OK. And now I have added color, vibrance into my PDF file.
It's looking more like a landscape design.
That's right.
Another one from David was automatically assigning pages, automatically assigning page numbers is a good one.
I'm going to let you take this one.
Okay. So are we doing this for more of a bookmarks? Let me go to here. Oh, I'm not sharing yet. So we have the ability to go through and assign automatic page bookmarks to areas on our sets. Let's go through. I'm looking for this set. I think it's not locked. Great. So what's this little thing down here? Is this Zoom? Is this my Zoom? Okay, that's my Q&A. We have the ability to go down and make bookmarks here quickly by automatically having them be created, or page numbers from here, right? Because this is already showing page numbers. If I wanted to give it a value, we can give it a new page label here. Instead of just going and just saying automatic, because you could do it from bookmarks, like, hey, my bookmarks have been created, do that, or from a page region. I'm going to do the bookmarks one first. So we'll just go to here and I'm going to say add, not add, I want to do this one. And from a page region, I want all of this information to automatically populate them. And it's going to run through. Great. Thanks for the region. It's going to do all of my pages. And already, let me delete that one because I hit the add one manually, which isn't fun. So instead of going through, right, you could create automatic hyperlinks to click through pages, or you could have this open to help you go through and navigate pages just like this. And then the adverse would be doing that same thing, but just creating those labels from my bookmarks here. And now they're already updated. Or again, you could do the same page region selection, excuse me, to utilize that as well. And for us blind folks, here's the quick tip of the day for all of us. Down here at the bottom, the small triangle to the larger triangle enlarges these things. Same thing for our tool sets. I need to use this all of the time. If you remember the one series, I thought one was like a 29 or a 26, and it was actually a 29. If I would have had this larger, it probably would have been better for me.
Ooh, that's a good tip. That's something I always forget about.
Yeah.
Good tip there, David, with the automatic page numbers. And then I like Michael's spin on it by grabbing the bookmarks first and then going through. So 2 birds, 1 stone. All right. All right. Bookmarks is a good way too. I think there's always he thinks there's also a way to number the pages on the sheets. Say if you are combining multiple documents into a PDF and you want to print the entire document with sequential page numbers. So your thumbnail control does control your printing order.
Yes, this does, correct. And it would print in order of you combining them either way using this combine feature. which is also a great tip. So another segue, because one client that I met with last week wanted to know about combining and how easy it was in review. It's very easy. You go to File, and then you can add files from here, or anything you have open, which is the Add Open Files, or Add. And usually you don't have that first dialog. That's just what I have because I set up a setting to grab files from my studio projects. And this is useful for when you're utilizing dashboards. Let me open that. It's protected, so let's not open that one then. Any order that you decide to have these in, right? So it's 1 through 8, 1 through 7, whatever order these are in, they're going to be combined from there. So again, so it'll be 1 through 8. If I wanted the adverse, just hit this up, and it's gonna bring those files as one set together. And it'll order them from those in that order and print from that order as well.
So before you hit cancel there, if you do this, will it make actual sets out of those, or will it create them, or will they all be part of the same PDF file?
It'll just be one singular PDF file. Does that make sense?
No sets will be broken out for your different files that were combined.
Are we talking about this set?
Yep.
No, it's not. This isn't creating a set over here. Correct. No.
It'd be cool if it could automatically do that at the same time. Because that would be handy if you're, compiling your plumbing plans and your architectural plans and your landscape plans to have them automatically come in as sets. That will save you some time.
I get that, creating a set file, but this purpose of combine is to make them a singular file, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Good question here from Tim. Are bookmarks and hyperlinks able to be created within a session?
I always have to test these out when questions about sessions, because I always forget what is enabled and what isn't enabled in a session. So let's go into a session and see. I'm going to leave this one and go into this one because I know I have a bunch in here.
That's a good question. I like that one.
Let me actually add this set here.
And while that's loading, I want to mention Chad's comment here. You never know what somebody else's aha moment is. And we've already found that a few times this morning between Michael and I with testing out some of your tips. One of the other bonus tips we threw in there is to create a quick copy of a markup, hold down the control keyboard or hold down control on the keyboard and just click and move it. Instead of doing copy paste, you can hold down control and it will make a copy.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That's a great one. Okay, so automatically or creating hyperlinks, it is grayed out.
What about bookmarks?
Can I create grayed out?
Oh, you cannot create bookmarks or hyperlinks inside of a session. Good question. Glad we were able to test that. Since we're in here, do you want to create a quick markup and hold down control on the keyboard to copy it?
I certainly will. I will also love to show off that this was added at an edition upgrade, and I can go and look. I actually saved it so that we can say what edition upgrade, but you also have now the hexagon for a markup. So if I wanted to say 5 here, Alt Z, boom, there we go. Holding control, is it just like, okay, it is like Revit. So is that a Windows-based thing that's creating the copy, or is it the application that is from? That's a good question, because you can do the same thing in Revit. So is it a Windows-based copy that's allowing you to do this, where you hold control, right? I'm holding control, then selecting what my markup is at the same time, and it's copying it over.
I'll have to test that later.
Yeah. So great. And also, by the way, everyone, we can go through and add leaders.
Yeah, that's a new one for the text box and the call out.
Yep.
Okay, I've got a question for you. Now that it's a hexagon, turn it into a circle. So now that it's a circle, take away the shape altogether.
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do that either. I was hoping you did.
Can you uncheck it? No.
So that question's come up before. That I couldn't quite figure out. So maybe that's a Josh question. Could you reduce the line size? Ooh, that could be a possible one. Change the line size down to 0. That does it. Okay. Workaround. I like it. Thanks for that, Tim and Chad. All right. Another question here. Adding headers and footers to a PDF.
Oh, okay. So you can do this as a template, or can
We're
you
in a
do it?
session right now, so that probably won't work.
Yes, let's get out of there. So I've never done it from here, but I've done it for like a template, right? So if your company has like a header and footer they want everyone to use, you can pre-create it however you'd like and then save it as a template, which is also useful to do it in that manner. I haven't just done it here. And I don't know, is there a feature, headers and footers? So you could add headers and footers from here, batch, for that. So the other one would be a template, like a company template that you're using all the time. You take the time to set up beforehand, right? And then they just click that new default PDF that has the headers and footers. But from here, I've never used this capability, but we can run through it. So there's headers and footers. It looks like you can save the settings that you decide to save. So we'll just go with Havelica. So we'll do Michael. And then bottom right, my last name. And it's already adding it, which is great. You can insert page numbers too. So you can do one of, 1/n, page 1, and then page 1 of, and then I'm guessing n is like the new value that will be added, which is
Well, that's
just
of how many sheets you have. So
Yeah.
you've got 7 sheets, so that n is the 7.
Yeah, the new number.
Comment from David: Bates number would number the pages. So see, there's an option for Bates number.
Okay. The number of pages, 6 digits, start with 1. Okay, so you could start with another indicator, right? Which is pretty cool. What's this file data?
That would take your file name and your file path, probably.
Okay.
So that would be handy for, I suppose normally we see that in drawing files where your file path is there, so somebody wanted to go figure out where that print came from. But in
Have
the
you
PDF,
used this before?
I have not.
Yeah, me neither.
So you're catching us outside of our comfort zone here, David. This is a good one.
Fit. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Fit content inside the margins. I'm not going to overwrite this one, but then you could hit OK, right? It's probably going to process it for whatever it is. You can go through all your pages too. Great. Who said that one?
That was David Cutler. So he also, this is a good use for the Bluebeam Review web tab. He said that's a throwback to the Bates numbering machine. It was a manual stamp that automatically indexed to the next number. I've never seen one of these. So search for Bates numbering machine.
Do you do a Google or do you just type in Bates number?
Good question. I usually go to Google, but let's see if it works. That's what we're here to do, boys and girls. And just test some stuff. So the web tab does not have built-in search engine functionality. So you have to go to or Bing or DuckDuckGo, whatever your favorite search engine is.
Oh, I guess I have to put .com, right? Because like you said. No thanks.
Bates. Oh, okay.
Look at this.
they're still available. So is that technically a throwback? That's kind of fancy. Look at that. Hopefully we're not the only ones learning something here. And hopefully David doesn't feel too old for that. But that's a interesting little machine.
I like to say too seasoned, right?
Seasoned. There you go. They've been around longer than computers. Yeah. Very cool side track we got on there.
All righty. And this is where I always like to see up where those additions were. So let's see, release notes.
Yeah.
I always, instead of saying, hey, it was in this, we could go down here and look for which release it was added in, so we're more accurate. Always looking at release notes is great, so you know. And hey, Jason, let's say I have 19. How do I get updates? What do I have to have license-wise to get updates?
You have to have a maintenance subscription.
Yes.
So if you just get your perpetual license, you don't get all these tasty little updates that Bluebeam releases. So if you have that maintenance add-on to your subscription, then you get access to all the updates, latest and greatest features, and all those good things.
Yes.
Side note, these updates are fantastic. We deal with a lot of software here. I really love how Bluebeam takes the time to animate things and lay these out. It really makes it simple for us to figure out what's new.
Mm-hmm.
So pat on the back to anyone at Bluebeam for setting this up, because great feature.
Yeah, versus a hidden feature that someone just found randomly of an update. I would concur. All right, what do we have?
We are out of tips. Anybody got any more tips? We'll have to throw in your own. So I threw in my color change one. What do you got, Michael? Give us a bonus.
What did I say the other day was one? Let's just do a legend, okay?
Ooh,
from our custom tool sets, right? So let's do that one. That's what I'm going to go through and make. So I'm going to add some markups here. Is there a way to create a legend from markups that have been added? You can do it from ones you've selected, right? So they don't have to be directly in the custom tool set. You can select them from the markups list and create a legend this way too. So maybe I just want all of these in a legend. You could do it this way, but we're doing it from the tool set only. So whenever an item from the tool set or markup, gets added to the page, it'll be added to that same legend because it's the legend specific. So you go from here, the gear symbol, you go over to legend and you create new legend. Where do you want to create it, Michael? I want to create it up here. And it has the same naming already for it. And you get to see what options you have from your legend. Maybe I want this a little bit better, legible. You can add different columns here as well, just from the top in your dynamic options bar, or again, from properties over here, you can change the appearance for it as well.
So you're saying that since you added those three from the tool set, if you insert another one of those symbols that isn't already there, is it automatically going to populate? It does. Oh, that's a good tip. I will admit I did not know that one.
Yes, versus this, because you can still do it this way. So if I were to add, I don't know, like this thing that I created, who knows when, right? I could say these, so I can hold control and say legend, right? I could create a new legend or add it to the existing one, but it's not going to automatically add them unless it was from a specific tool set.
Oh, that's a neat trick.
So two of the same files in the same folder is what he's saying, right? So alt page up. Okay.
So it opens up the next. Oh, okay. That's clever. Where did you ever learn that?
So is this opening the file above it?
Or the file below it? Yep. So you may have 3 files in that one folder?
Yeah, I have Samtech, Teen Challenge, and then Senior Center. Well, let me open. Oh, it switches to that one. Look at that, because I have it open.
Yeah.
But it won't let me go down. So hold on. So down, up, up, and then if I hit down again, it won't let me though. It says save. And I hit up. Yeah, it won't let me from here.
Alt
Only in the
page up,
second
page
tab.
down. Interesting. All right. And bonus tip, how do you figure out where that file is located?
You could go to document properties, right? Or what's your thoughts?
Right there, right click and go to explore document folder. Also works in Civil 3D and AutoCAD too. Just right click on the drawing tab or the file tab and you can get right to that location.
You can also hover over too, but let's see. File Explorer. Has anyone used the file access and hit the drop down and actually explored from here? That's another one.
What? What'd you just do?
You didn't know about this? Okay.
I don't think I knew about this one.
So you could go from your file access, which everyone sees all the time, and maybe some of us haven't changed it, but if you hit the drop down, you can explore your files on your desktop, like all documents or just PDF files, and start clicking through different ones.
All right. You are ineligible to win. I've already told you this. But that's so far my favorite tip. That's pretty good. I'm going to use that. I owe you a drink in New Orleans. All right.
I'll write that down. I'll bring it up.
Right. I'm going to have a whole list of people I owe beer to, or they owe me. But anyway, pinning your files to file access. Another good tip from David here. I use this one all the time, and you can see that Michael does too.
Yes.
Oh, you want to explain what that means?
Yeah, I was going to ask David, do we know the difference between categories and pinned?
Let's assume no.
Okay.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Okay, so there's two great things of when we're having our recent access. We can pin things, which is going to pin it in the exact same file structure that it is natively, right? So these three files, if I pinned one, it's going to save them pinned together in its original document folder. So I could open that folder natively from here, right? So I can go and say, okay, this one's in this folder in my File Explorer, and I can open the folder from here as well. That is great because it's pinned by its native location. Now, if I wanted documents all together that weren't saved in the same folder, how can I visually see them saved together? That's by category. So just pinned is right click, right? And you can pin them. So let me go to one that's not pinned. Right click. Actually, let's go to not something there. Let's go to maybe this, some training outline that I have here, right? Right click, pin. So it's just going to pin the file and it pins it wherever it was named to a category of airport. And now they're trying new things. So let's see, do example. These are all DWGs. Okay.
Good tip. Interesting one.
Can you also see your PDFs here? I thought I had PDFs in one of these.
They can see a PDF on theirs.
Maybe I don't have one. Can you mark up, question for you, can you mark up on the PDF and save it to the BIM 360?
Ooh, that's a good one. We should test that sometime.
If you have it open now, can you test it, see for us? I know we're not watching. Yes, 1 second. But that's a great answer if we are able to.
Because markups in BIM 360 are not the same as Bluebeam Review markups. I'll leave it at that.
I would concur. As we wait, did not let me save. Okay.
Oh, it was worth a shot.
Yep, worth a shot. So we are rounding the corner towards the end. So should we being used by another process? Okay.
All right.
Should we recap at all, Jason, which ones we think are kind of the top hitters?
Yep. So here we go. I'm going to go start at the top here. Here we've got, going back through here, from Chad, grouping snapshots into one pick and then saving them in the toolbox as sort of a stamp. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
The alignment tool for aligning markups on a page. Also pretty good. Another one I don't use very often.
I would concur.
From David, dynamic fill to do area and perimeter in one operation.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty handy. Creating a stamp from symbols. That one was kind of tricky. From Brian, add versus import tool sets. You know, one's making that local copy and one is keeping it live on the server. I like that one. From David, splitting the perimeter into different sections. So if you needed to break out for a doorway or a wall opening, you could do that.
That one was a pretty cool one. Didn't know that one.
Copying a page, saving it as a separate PDF. Pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
There was that page headers and footers that I've tipped that we didn't know about. Yep.
Page header and footer. Automatically assigning page numbers and bookmarks. You went through that exercise where you had extracted that text and it automatically made the bookmark names, and then you went and gave those page labels. David with the Bates number, talking about the automatically numbering and showing us that magical old school throwback tool. That was a good one. Alt page up and page down, and some of the alt and shift and control modifiers from Chris. That was good. Turning files to your file access, also good. And then Michael built on that with the categories. I see your question there in the chat, and I don't know what you're talking about at all. We got a question, another tip here from Tarleton about BIM 360 access. Very good one. All right, this is going to be tough to choose. So we've got your emails, and we're going to do some more deliberation on this, and we're going to pick our winner. Check your email. We'll do this sometime today. We'll figure that out. Check your email. We got something to send you. So you're all winners in my book, but only one of you gets the prize. So this is going to take some thought. You're all very clever today, and we thank you for your participation. I'm going to have to think about this some more. So, Chad,
yeah,
David, Carlton, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll have to think about which one and review, and then we will get in contact with you all. DJ, TJ will get in contact with you all. I think she meant to say DJ or TJ. Maybe we'll just say DJ. Our back end, yeah.
DJ, CJ.
Okay, DJ, one. CJ, all one.
There we go.
Tongue twister. We'll get in contact with you and move forward with the prize. So once we're able to figure that one out, we will do that.
All right. Now, we've came up with, as we're talking today, we came up with a few ideas for our future morning coffee review. If you've got any ideas of things that you want us to talk about, throw them in the chat, drop us an email, comment on our YouTube or our LinkedIn posts about these things. This is all about building our community and interacting with you folks to help us all learn more about Bluebeam Review. I know I learned a few tips today, both from you and from Michael, and that's what this is all about. We're using the software in different ways. We're seeing how powerful and how flexible it is. This has been a great thing for us to pay attention to and learn from. So thank you for being here today. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Exactly. And hopefully you all see our preview video of what we're going to be talking about next week. Again, we appreciate all of you. This is all about building a community around Bluebeam products. So we hope and look forward to seeing you next week. Join 15 minutes early. We have banter talk at the beginning. So please join us early, get to know us. We want to get to know you as well.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.